Borrow Japan.
Oh, okay. I was like wondering where it went.
Took a pen?
Yeah.
Are we ready? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to call a meeting to order. This is the Monroe County Development Committee meeting, January 8th. I want to call the meeting to order. And I would like to welcome the Honorable County Executive Adam Bello. Adam, you have a few words for us?
I do. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. And it's wonderful to be here with all of you here today. First of all, I just want to wish you all Happy New Year. I want to thank all the members of the board for your service here and let you know just how much I appreciate it. I know we're all volunteers that are trying to do some good for our community and help grow the economy here. You all come from some different sectors in the community, play different roles in your professional life, and you all bring with you some expertise and a background that I think makes this a real diverse board that is doing some really good work. And you've had some real impact over the last couple of years as well. Something that I'm proud of is that over the last several months in particular, if you look at the numbers that come out from the New York State Department of Labor, in particular, you see the Rochester metro region leading the way in job growth year over year. And if you look at your counterpart board, Comida, and some of the work they've done, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the work and success that you've had here over the last year. We are seeing some remarkable numbers that are coming out of this work. The Comida board seems to break a record every year in the number of industries that they're bringing over here, and the support that you're giving certain institutions, in particular the work you're doing to supporting small businesses in our community is also having just a remarkable impact. So before I go through some of those numbers and tell you a few things that stuck out to me, I do want to, it's not that I want to, but it's also my responsibility. I need to appoint and reappoint some members, and then I'll get to some other things. So I appreciate Phil Smith and Jeff Barker. They have both graciously agreed to serve for another 3-year term, and so I am reappointing Phil and Jeff to another 3-year term. So congratulations, Phil and Jeff. I am also reappointing our slate of officers for the coming year, so let's formally do that. Hanif Abdul Wahid, I would like to reappoint you as president of the board, Chris Johnston as vice president, Jeff Barker as treasurer, and Eric Rogers as secretary. So without any objection, and with their agree to continued service, I want to thank you for continuing to serve as officers. And I want to thank you for your continued leadership and the role that you're playing. So a couple achievements that I've looked back at over the last year is that, the micro fund, or the Micro Advantage Loan Fund program, this innovative program that's being run through this board, we have to date loaned out nearly $3 million to small businesses across our community, 60 local businesses, half of them are MWBEs or veteran-owned businesses. That is a significant investment in the small business community, which is really the lifeblood of this economy. And I got to tell you something, I have gone out throughout the community. Obviously, I go to a lot of ribbon cuttings, groundbreakings, I go to a lot of community events. This program in particular creates a lot of buzz, and a lot of folks that talked to me about this have thanked us for doing this program and talked about how much it means to their business, particularly in light of the struggles that a lot of businesses and organizations had as you come out of COVID, right? And you think about that. The 504 loan portfolio that we have, $14.8 million in private capital investment, supported the creation of 107 new jobs in Monroe County. That's another MCIDC program. Tax exempt bond financing for nonprofit projects. $43 million for Eugenio Maria de Hostos Charter School in Rochester. That was a significant investment in that school. $64 million at St. John Fisher University to renovate their library. Those were two very large projects that went through the board last year. Also, the workforce development programs, the Rochester Museum and Science Center, BOCES Summer Advanced Manufacturing Program, the Rochester Technology Manufacturer Association event, the Rock With Your Hands event. I attended that event that you sponsored last year as well to see these young people. And a couple thoughts I had on that, why I think that's important, is, you know, as we continue to incentivize, we continue to work with our partners, GRE, the Chamber of Commerce, our, you know, New York State, and all of you here. It's important as we're incentivizing, we're seeing all this new growth, you see a lot of new industries coming. It's important that we also invest in the workforce to be able to work in these industries that are coming here, right? And that's a critical component, I think, of the economic development ecosystem, because having that workforce that's ready to go to work and is prepared to work at these industries, I think is critical. I'm just going to make sure I get the name of the program right. The Rock With Your Hands event that was at the soccer stadium last year. I mean, that was, I think, a couple thousand, right? School children, record attendance from all over the county, all across the city of Rochester, were there to meet with the trades were there. There was advanced manufacturing. Some of the optical companies were there. There was an alpaca farm there. That was inexplicable, but there was a lot of, really, yeah, the county was there. But you know, you see, but I know why they're there, because it's jobs that you work with your hands, right? Obviously, but what you do is it's opening up the opportunities to young people that they don't know exist, right? That's why the optics program at MCC is so important. Again, it's opening the minds, it's giving opportunities to industries and job opportunities that they may not have ever even known was available to them. So I think those are important. So as we continue to work on those large financing projects that we do, you know, like with St. John Fisher University and the charter school, and we do the small business loan programs and things like that, I'm very cognizant and mindful of the investments, big or small, that we're making in terms of our workforce to be able to get people to work. So again, I just want to thank you for your work and your partnership. Thank you, Anna, and the team here. Your work really has had a big impact on this community. I'm delighted that I'm actually able to be here for you in person this year, and I don't have to Zoom in to see this. But the momentum that we've had over the last couple of years in terms of building the economy and the opportunities that presents in challenging times, right? I think has given me a lot of optimism. We've just been designated last year as a federal tech hub, and we were named as finalists several months ago or earlier last year to receive a significant infusion of dollars from the federal government as well. And then you even look at big projects. Fairlife, you know, is creating its own ecosystem here in terms of the jobs and the investment that's bringing here. And that was actually even named Project of the Year, I think, from Empire State Development. So the projects, the size of these projects we're bringing have been significant, but being mindful of the small business community too, and the growth that's having. We did an event partnered with the Chamber of Commerce too, to recognize the MWBE businesses for the certification program that we have, and the veteran-owned small businesses, and the amount of dollars that is generating and keeping here in our community and people it's putting to work is really just astounding. So thank you all for your continued service. Thank you for your continued work. I know it's a little bit of a hassle to get you out of your day job or wherever you're coming from each month to meet, but I do appreciate the service and on behalf of your community, so thank you.
Thank you, Adam. We appreciate you also too for having faith in this board. We got an outstanding staff that supports the board, and this is how we get the work done.
100%.
Thank you, County Executive. We appreciate you taking the time.
So
out of your
we're
busy
official, I
Very
guess,
welcome.
and
schedule.
we'll move on
You're
here.
aboard again. And I had to come here in person to make sure nobody like tried to run for the doors and leave your virtual. So.
Well, we've got some business to take care of, and County Executive, you're welcome to stay, eat some lunch with us, and we want to get into this.
Okay, fantastic.
So we need
I'm gonna
approval
stay
of the
here just a
minutes
few minutes, and then I'll take
for
up the
December 13th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Is Kevin there? Did he get a sandwich?
No. I just went to Boston Bagels.
All right.
Let me eat that for now.
Kevin, I did give you
About
the
next
annual
month.
report also.
So I'll do both?
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm gonna start with our December 2024 monthly MCIDC report, covering our visits between the 1st and December 31st of 2024. During this period, we made 6 monthly site visits. We had 1 follow-up visit during this period, checked residency with 230 workers. Of those, we had 3 issues of non-compliance, those were out of area, and there were no new MCIDC signs delivered during the month of December. Any questions on that? Okay.
We good?
I will move on to our annual report for 2024, covering our visits between January 1st, 2024 and December 31st of 2024. So during the entire year, we made 48 site visits. We had 7 follow-up visits during that period. We checked residency with 1,905 workers. Of those, we had 37 issues of non-compliance. We had 2 new MCIDC signs delivered during 2024. There was an average of 100% compliance on the initial site visit, and all sites were 100% compliant within 24 hours of their initial visit.
Wow.
Any questions?
Good work, Kevin. Do you do that with a magic wand?
Sometimes. I usually keep it at home. I'll bring it next time. Here's my sandwich. Have a nice
All
day.
right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Financial report, Greg?
Yeah, so I don't believe you have this in your packet. It was a quick turnaround this month, but year-to-date numbers, again, pre-audited. Overall, we have about $960,000 in cash, really, which represents about $400,000 in between our checking and our money market, and $500,000 in our micro loan program, which we keep in there to fund probably 2 months worth of transactions. Our investments are up to $4.2 million. That represents about 10 different notes and bonds that we have purchased throughout the year. They expire approximately every 3 months, and we are out to October of 2026. The average balance this past year is about $3.5 million, which returned about $150,000 of interest, a little over 4% on that. So all good, really good returns. Our RLF fund, we received approximately $150,000 of principal payments from that portfolio and about $40,000 of interest throughout the year. As the county executive said, we have about $2 million of new microloans issued for 2024. We received $220,000 of principal payments back from our small business borrowers, which is really, really neat, and about $40,000 of interest on that portfolio. Overall, like I said, our revenue is probably, the revenue and expenses are probably the best year. I was hoping Phil Smith would be here. He can help me go back to the archives, but without, if you take bond activity out of it, I don't recall this level of activity and excess over our expenses in recent memory. And obviously our balance sheet and financial position kind of shows that. Again, our program income is fairly consistent from year to year. Our interest income based on our cash and our investments, quite a bit over what we have budgeted, and that's really because we've had a lot more excess cash, and as you can see, as that bond income comes in, we quickly turn around that, put that and invest that into, our treasuries and things like that. Our expenses, right, so as we produce that almost $2.8 million of revenue, we've held our expenses pretty consistent. That's been pretty consistent over the last 5 years of the level of activity that we have achieved, but holding that line, pretty flat. I mean, the only really increase in our expenses, as you can see, is in our general administrative, but that's a non-cash expense that we were accounting for potentially some bad debt losses in our microloan portfolio that we haven't really seen yet, right? We're just, using that as an estimate, as a reserve. We're estimating 15%. We haven't seen much. There's been a couple that, we're working on, but other than that, there's been very minimal activity there. That number may get adjusted as we do the audit. We're gonna go through some analysis to really figure out what that number looks like and may adjust that as we get and finalize that audit. But overall, you can see, revenue over our expenses is $1.5 million, almost double what we had anticipated through a lot of the different things that I've talked about. Like I said, this is probably the best year on record that I can recall. And certainly you can see with our balance sheet and investments and assets, we have a lot of good things to look forward to, certainly next year and the future years.
Greg, next time I'd like you to, please give that with a little bit more enthusiasm. I felt like I was at a funeral. All of this good news here, man. My goodness gracious. This is good news, man.
Yeah.
We were supposed to have the bells and whistles. We've got the county executive here, and it's like we were mourning a loss here.
I bring out the best in people.
Any questions for Greg?
My superpower.
Any questions for him? Good job. We got to go into executive session. We need a motion to do so.
Motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Tony and Craig are going to review 3 loans for us, and we can answer any questions there. It's Pinewood Campground, the Salon Carpe Diem, and Hans Bakery, which is on, it says Main Street. Tony? Tony, uh, is this just one structure on the campground? That's all it is one structure? Right. Mhm. Right. Okay. But but the loan is to renovate the main site, right? Mhm. Anybody on the board goes camping there? Oh, okay, there you go. Oh, I figured that. Go ahead, Tony. I appreciate it. Well, let's be grateful that we don't have to help them dig the well. Um, any more questions for Tony on this loan? Can we move to the next one? Oh, he did Hans Bakery? Okay, all right. Well, I must want to sleep here, I am dozing. So we need a motion to come out of executive session and continue our regular meeting. All in favor? All in favor? All in favor? Oh, okay, thank you. I thought the screen had frozen. So we need a motion to approve $288,600 SBA 504 commercial mortgage for the purpose of refinancing a note and renovate and expand facility in North Rose, Wayne County. How are we in Wayne County? That's. Go ahead and approve it, but I'll ask the question later.
Yeah, what we do
We-
service the Finger Lakes region. It's a nine county
Okay.
area.
All right,
And, we don't necessarily go into those counties, soliciting business, but our lending partners, do cross over the Monroe County borders. So, our bank partners who already do business with, look to bring us in.
okay. All right, there's a motion on the floor. We need a motion to move it.
Motion. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Jeff abstains.
Okay, all right. So we need a motion to approve $300,000 SBA 504 commercial mortgage for the purpose of purchasing a new building for business in the city of Rochester.
I'll make it.
You got a motion?
Yep.
All right. We need a second.
We got it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions?
Yes.
You're gonna notice a theme with that one.
We're gonna ask Jeff to leave the room. Motion to approve $64,715 SBA commercial mortgage for the purpose of purchasing the building and equipment in Medina, Orleans County.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Jeff abstains.
Okay, all right. Well, we're there, okay? Any more questions on the loans? All right, so there's an SBA loan file review. And Anna, would you just give us a little background on this as you're doing this?
I'm actually going to defer to, oh, thank you, I was just gonna say. Okay. Apologies, Neve, thank you, and thank you to Robin. So we let the board know in December that the SBA performed a targeted loan file review this past summer. The report was sent to MCIDC in December. It's in your board packets, it should be after the, loan information in your board packets, so buried a little deep in there. Some light reading, I think it starts on page 55. The report, staff works through the assessment and its recommendations for improvement, which are delineated in the letter. The first item, which is expected to be completed within a 45-day period, is a response with an action plan and a timeline for implementation. And that's what we are seeking approval for today, so that'll be the motion that's on the table. Step 2, staff is going to begin necessary review of all loan files and prepare new processes and procedures that need to be approved by this board in 90 days. So you can see those findings in the letter dated December 8th, starting on page 55 in your packets. I'll open it up to any questions or discussion before we seek that motion for staff to create an action plan and a timeline for response.
A couple of quick.
Tony's got his work cut out for him.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of quick comments. As far as being a targeted loan review, this wasn't just us. There were a number of places that they did this with, and they're actually going to double the number in 25 that they did in 24. So this wasn't necessarily special for us. We were just towards the beginning, I guess, of doing this. A number of these things that you see, There's not a ton of variety, but you'll see is a common theme of insurance. There's several different insurance we need to get, as far as, property insurance when we take a mortgage, workers' comp insurance, liability insurance. Supposed to get all these at closing and then on an annual basis, as well as getting the financials we need to get the updates. It's not always the easiest to get the borrowers to give those, especially since with some of these people, we see them a lot in the beginning, but by the time a year goes by, we don't really see them much. So I guess maybe I'd like to ask if our bank partners here, when you guys get those annually, because you have a better track record of getting the stuff than we do, if you can send them over to us when you get them, that'd be nice.
Yeah, that's gonna be part of our step 2 process.
So anyways, that is a common theme. There were a few kind of other things there that were small, but some of the things we actually even already had, but in a separate electronic file that we had forgotten about. So a few of these things we had already, so it was easy enough to produce them quick. A couple of the other ones, we'll have to chase down like we chased down the financial statements.
Is there any of these that are like a significant cause for concern, or are they like pretty standard findings when they're doing these target? And I only ask because I've never seen something like this before.
Yeah, it'll be pretty, I like, without seeing other people's reviews, but I'd certainly be willing to bet money that insurance is a common theme with everybody.
Got it.
Yeah.
I mean, there were maybe a couple other smaller things here that maybe we didn't properly have in the file, or, missing a number on a form as it may be. Nothing that's insurmountable, nothing that's, causing us a loss or anything at this point.
Got it.
How many files did they look at?
Was it 8?
8.
Yeah, most of those were newer, a couple of them were older.
So to clarify, the SBA kind of says exactly what we need to do, and step 1 is for you as the board to be aware that we got this letter, staff has taken a look at it, so the motion is, well, I need to make the motion. And then we need everyone to sign a document before they leave today, stating that they've seen that we've told you about this and what the next steps are. So don't leave until you sign this document.
I can't abstain.
No, you cannot abstain.
So does the SBA come back and after a certain period of time and just pick another sampling to make sure that these have been corrected? Do we have to produce documents
Well,
for these low files?
we have to send them back, something in 45 days.
That's what we're doing now, and then saying what our plan is, and then we have to then do step 2 is in 90 days, we have to say, this is what we've done.
Okay.
And it'll be reported to the board before we send anything back.
What remedy do we have if someone just refuses to give us their insurance documents? Like, is there, because it seems like the SBA is putting all that pressure on you and us to get that, but if someone's not giving it to us, there's nothing.
I mean,
Oh,
Sure.
yeah.
Ultimately, you change the risk rating of the loan to move it into sort of a higher risk category. We have rights to do things, but realistically, you can't like default and call the loan.
Got it.
Because we're junior to someone else.
Yeah.
But the job of a servicer, which is what MCIDC is in this transaction, is to document sort of our process and our requests and make sure that we're following that process each and every time. So, asking for insurance on an annual basis is obviously one standard, but then if we don't get it, making sure we're have a process in place to follow up with each one. And that may, as Tony's saying, may include reaching out to see if the senior lender has received insurance, just trying to go through and document a process so that if nothing else, we've done our job as a servicer.
If we found that someone's insurance was canceled or they didn't have insurance, would that be a default?
Yes,
Yeah, on
lack of
lender- the
insurance
lenders,
is
yeah,
The
mhm.
lender would
Mhm.
start that process and we would.
Probably give them notice of default if they're paying on time, but yeah, it would technically put them,
yeah.
Because
you know, they
you
violated
would
the
get
terms
same
of the
notice.
mortgage,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's the
yeah,
first
they
lender.
agree to do that, yeah.
And then, I guess this is more a question for the bankers in the room, is that like, is it pretty standard that it can be difficult to get that
Mhm.
stuff
Oh,
to
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
people?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a surprise. I mean, I think about me having to give documents to
Yeah,
things, and
right, right.
Robin knows I'm always late. Like-
But-
Yeah, no.
Well, it's
Very-
always hard to get something in the aftermath after someone has been compensated.
Yeah,
So
they don't.
I think in the beginning, excuse me, I think in the beginning, as we're going forward, we have to address these things, really in the loan reviews. Stress that, if you get this money, you must, show us, those documents that we need. And it's something that is required by the SBA, then, once again, it's up to the staff to come up with a process to make sure and ensure, that we're in compliance. Do we all agree?
Yes.
Yes.
So we got a motion, to accept the letter response to the SBA outlining our action plan and implementation timeline regarding the targeted loan and file review from December 24th.
Motion.
Second.
We need a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Jeff, you voted this time, huh? Good guy. Zach, could we get the governance committee report?
Sure. So the governance committee met yesterday, just to review our annual contracts, for Monroe County, our contract in Monroe County, auditing services, accounting and CFO services, local labor monitoring, local labor exemption processing, and legal services. They're all 5-year contracts, so we're still within that, so it's just every year we have to review them, which we did. At the end of this calendar year, we'll put out more RFPs for the next 5 years. So it's just a review. Anna, do you want to go over anything in particular, or?
Does anybody have any questions? I think the only notable changes are that, so with Loki Brill, they're gonna be doing our local labor, exemption review process, as well as the monitoring through fiscal year 2025, which is identical to the arrangement we made through Comida, because our consultant with Bonadio had a health issue last year, so, and everything else is pretty much standard and the same.
Okay, let's get these motions out of the way here. I was gonna, sort of package them, but we're gonna do them one at a time, so I'm hoping that we can just get right through them. The first one is a motion to authorize a contract with Monroe County for qualified professional staff to market, package, process, close, and service loans for the fiscal year of 2025.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, that fine staff is, Tony, Robin, where's, I can't see her in the bottom, next to you, Robin.
Allison to you.
Allison.
There she is.
Craig, Chad, Sharon.
All right, so you guys are in. Anna, everybody's in.
Oh,
And
yeah.
let me tell you, I need to say this here because I worked with these folks before, but they have really gone way past at least my expectations, and all of the stuff that we're doing and accomplishing is because of the work of the staff here. They're doing an excellent job. So I'm glad that we got them through on that motion. The next motion is to authorize a contract with Mingel Mexa Bar for auditing services performed in 2024. This is a financial audit with terms for the request for proposal.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the next one is a motion to authorize a contract with the Bonadio Group for accounting and chief financial officer for fiscal year 2025 with terms from the request for proposal.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, Greg, you're still here.
I'll get bells and whistles next year in the budget.
There you go. Motion to authorize a contract with Loki Brill Consulting for local labor monitoring for fiscal year 2025 with terms from the request for proposal.
I'll move it. Second.
You don't like Loki, right?
Oh, we got two more.
Oh, you got it? Okay, all right. I'm not seeing it. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Last one here is a motion to authorize a contract with Nixon Body Peabody LLP for legal services for the fiscal year 2025 with terms from the request for proposal.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Did he miss one?
It looks like you're in once again, my friend.
Thank you.
You put a little pressure on the board to vote this way, you know, by being present. We should have removed you.
Fair.
He's intimidating, isn't he?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, we want to go to the executive committee report, and we met yesterday, and we heard the parameters that we're going to use for the revolving loan fund and the new small business rebate program. Anna, you can highlight each program for a minute here. And then we also distributed an updated rebate program, and we revised the lifetime cap from 10,000 to 25,000. Anna, you have anything that you want to
Thank you,
say for
Hanif.
this?
Sure, I'll just recap at a high level, our discussion. It was a good discussion yesterday at the executive committee meeting. Historically, the Monroe County Industrial Development Corporation, which has been around since 1962, we've had a revolving loan fund, but we've never really had any written parameters around how to leverage the revolving loan fund as a resource. Typically, it's there to give us recourse when and if there is an issue with an SBA 504 loan transaction, provides us a vehicle to support otherwise worthy small businesses if they hit a snag with a 504 application. But it's there, and it's provided us some flexibility for other deals as well through the years. But staff, under the auspices of MCIDC modernization, we want to build some parameters and some strategy around how best to use it, some policies. So we've written a policy to be adopted by the board to guide that revolving loan program. What we are proposing is that it continues to be a working capital loan fund with the policy dictates that the amounts will be up to $250,000, but that allows for the board to waive or otherwise amend that on a case-by-case basis. There are designated terms that are delineated in the policy. we're requiring job retention, but not necessarily job creation, although job creation is preferred and would be surveyed after a year. Fixed interest rate would be determined by MCIDC, by the loan committee, and then by the full board, but not outlined in the policy. And there are some terms here for underwriting and the cost. There would be a $250 application fee, $2,500 attorney fee. So this, again, the policy just exists where one did not before, once the board adopts it, allowing us to leverage the revolving loan fund in a flex manner moving forward. And I can talk about the incentives revamp unless anybody has questions about the revolving loan fund policy.
We just need to clarify one thing.
For the job retention requirement, after discussion yesterday, we updated that to not less than 90% of the existing employee base at the time of requesting the loan. Some of these loans may be for businesses that need the help, and they may, let's say, lose a job or two as part of this transaction. So to be eligible, they just have to maintain at least 90% of the jobs at application.
So that's different than what you have here, because it was.
In the packet.
Yeah.
Flexibility.
All right, I'll talk a little bit about the Great Rate Great Rebate Program. This was a much more robust conversation yesterday. Since the 90s, MCIDC has administered the Great Rates Great Rebate Program, and I want to give a shout out to Sharon, who is our subject matter expert. She's behind the scenes keeping this program running all the time, and it's a very powerful incentive program, and it's made quite a measurable impact through the years on Monroe County economic development in incentivizing equipment purchases, mostly within manufacturers, some retail. What we have noticed, and this is again thanks to Sharon's eagle eyes and staff oversight, we've noticed that there have been some cases where some companies keep coming back to the well and they're repeat users of the program, and we're not seeing a lot of new businesses coming to us seeking to take advantage of the program. So we would like to, and the spirit of an incentive is you want to incentivize and happen but for the incentive, right? So we want to make sure that the rebates are doing what they're intended to do. Just a quick overview of what the current program parameters are and what we're proposing. The Great Rate is a 3 or 4% interest subsidy on equipment purchases of $50,000 or more that are financed. The Great Rebate Program is a one-time rebate payment on $50,000 or more purchases of equipment with cash. And then Manufacturing Rewards is a one-time rebate payment of $2,000 for purchases ranging from $25,000 to just under $50,000. What we're proposing doing is instituting one program with one streamlined application that offers 3 tiered options, regardless of whether you're paying cash or financing a purchase. For purchases of up to $49,999, we're talking about a rebate of $1,500 for non-local companies or $2,000 for local companies, or excuse me, if you're purchasing the equipment from a local vendor, it's a $2,000 rebate, $1,500 if you're purchasing from a non-local vendor. For the next tier of $50,000 to $149,999, that ratchets up to $3,000 for a local vendor purchase or $2,500 for a non-local vendor purchase. And then up to $300,000 equipment purchases between $150,000 and $300,000. That's a $4,000 rebate for a non-local vendor, $5,000 for a local vendor. And we're proposing adjusting the job requirements as well for the smallest and the middle tier, looking to maintain existing jobs, and then anything above $150,000, we're looking for those applicants to create at least one job. And we're proposing, a lifetime cap of $25,000 in benefits per business, broken up however the applicant wants, depending on purchase prices. And that $25,000 has an asterisk because we would come back to this board in instances where there's a special case, a special project opportunity, where we think it would make an incentive proposal more powerful if we could supersede or that $25,000 cap. So that is a high-level overview, and I would love to have a discussion if anybody has questions, or if staff wants to chime in with anything that I may have inadvertently missed.
For the lifetime cap, because per business, is that taken into account if there's new ownership of the actual business? If it was, say, a membership transfer, or if a stock certificate transfers an asset, does that reset, or is it tied to that specific EIN and that specific business?
That's a good question. I'm gonna look at Barry. What do you think?
I think basically the way this is intended to be is to provide flexibility. So if there's new owners coming in, they have new plans, something of that nature, I think the lifetime cap could be adjusted if it's in the board's discretion to do so. So I think it depends on the facts and circumstances. There's nothing, very delineated on the lifetime cap that would be a hard ceiling for any type of situation. It's the ability to waive it by the board is true in every situation.
Okay, thanks.
The other thing that came up in our discussion yesterday while we're on the cap is that this cap is a new cap for this program. If you were in the old program and you receive benefits, that does not apply. This is everybody's starting at zero.
Thank you.
Should there be
Same
Okay,
issue for some of our high volume people, like, do we have some customers that do this, buy equipment every year?
Yeah.
And they're just gonna get cut off basically after, cut off from the incentives?
Yeah.
I know I signed
Yes.
the rebate forms for a few clients that buy equipment.
Should there be a minimum, just in case someone buys something for a couple $1,000s and they're gonna get a rebate of $1,500 or $2,000?
I think that's already,
Like if somebody buys something for $500, we're not gonna give them $1,500.
Yeah.
right.
Right.
So yes, we adjust
Because
that
originally it
Yes.
looks like the minimum was 50,000 for
Yeah.
most of it and 25,000 for manufacturing rewards.
Mhm.
And now
It's
we're
gotta
just
be a
saying,
minimum of 25, I think, 25,000.
1,500.
Minimum of the purchase price, cause see how it's like up to 49, so it would maybe do be a minimum of 25,000, from 25 to 50. So we had another one too that's for a little bit lower, right, Sean? There's like one that was rarely used. Yeah, that was a what, was it 25 to 50? 25 to 50, so maybe we would do it that way, yes.
And how do they get, you just mail a check to them or something at the end of each year?
So at the end of the year, Sharon surveys them and they, are required to provide like employment information, and then if they have met all the requirements, they get a check.
This
The
is this is an improvement of the revolving loan fund that we had before, which was mainly set up for different industries, manufacturing, and it has a reach now to where we go to different businesses. We can go to tech now. Which is a big thing. I'm quite sure a tech company is always in need of equipment. So this is a little different, and so the parameters are different, and we're going to monitor it a little different this year, and make everybody accountable that receives this loan. So I think that is a real good program to launch. We're not launching it with bells and whistles because we really don't want anybody to know about it. That's what I was told. Just kidding. But it's something that is in our toolbox, and I think that we can use it when Tony and his staff goes out with customers and bankers can also sort of relay this information. So we've got two motions here, and I want to get through them. A motion to approve the revolving loan fund, the new parameters effective immediately.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No abstentions. The next one is the motion to approve the new small business rebate program effective immediately.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We've got committee assignments. We've got chairs that we have to appoint and members that are present. And so I don't have the committees in front of me. Robin, can you read them?
Yep. Loan committee, Chris, chair with, Jeff, Tim, Carla, Joe, Phil, Ryan, and Brett. Governance committee, Zach, chair with Honey, Brittany, Brett, and Eric. Audit committee with Hanif as chair with Brittany and Joe. Finance committee with Jeff as chair with Hanif and Chris. And then executive committee with Hanif as chair, Eric, Chris, Jeff, and Zach. You're not on any committees, I don't know if you.
Okay.
I know, yeah, I don't know if you.
So we need a motion to approve all of those committee chairs and members as presented.
I'll move it.
I'll second. Oh, sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, Anna has a 2-hour annual report that she has to give to us. So if you want to break for lunch, you can. But you're next up, Anna.
Okay. All right, thanks, Hanif, and I'll be brief, because the county executive covered some of the highlights. 2024 was a wonderful year, particularly because of that microloan program, so thank you all. This is our annual meeting, so statutorily, I'm supposed to give you a recap of our performance. The county executive does those appointments and reappointments. I'll start with, I don't know if we have if everybody pulled up the PowerPoint presentation in their board materials, but our mission statement remains the same. It's our mission to provide resources to qualified for-profit businesses and nonprofit organizations that result in the retention and creation of jobs and employment opportunities in Monroe County and the surrounding counties. The Rochester metropolitan statistical area includes those 4 counties that border Monroe, and Monroe is the anchor, but really our labor shed and our economy spans outside of Monroe County's borders. So it's great that MCIDC can impact economic development in the MSA. In 2024, so speaking of those great rates, great rebates, manufacturing rewards, we had some growth. There was an uptick in activity. In 2024, we had 35 great rates, 24 great rebates, and that was up from 14 and 16 respectively the year prior. Some significant company investments. You see consistently 7-figure investment numbers in the 2023 and 2024 columns. And what you're gonna see this table change in my 2025 report as we look to rebrand the rebate program, and hopefully impact more businesses with those programs as well. On slide 4, the Monroe County Micro Advantage Loan Program. So here's where we're really spreading our wings. In 2024, we saw 49 loans approved, and that was up from just 10 the year prior to that. So now program total is 59. We of course launched the micro loan program in the summer of 2023. This was with ARPA fiscal recovery funds that the county legislature and the county executive's office had empowered MCIDC to administer in the form of a micro loan program. The majority of those borrowers are MWBEs and service disabled veterans. So of the 49 in 2024, 35 of them were MWBE borrowers. Thanks to, I'm looking at Allison, Chad, the whole team here. We've been able to meet the very aggressive goals that are set out for us by the ARPA team at the county. The dollars have to be out the door by the end of 2026, and the dollars that come back to us in the form of principal and interest payments belong to MCIDC effectively after 2026, so we can continue to build this out and hopefully grow it and connect it to our revolving loan fund and our 504 portfolio. On slide 5, I detail the partnership that we have with Vargas Associates. This is a local small business who she works with entrepreneurs to help them with their books, help them with technical assistance in business plan development and coaching. We offer this service to our prospective microloan applicants and existing microloan recipients and borrowers. One-on-one coaching for 16 businesses was offered and performed in 2024, with 6 of those businesses actually being approved for loans. The Vargas Associates offered 4 workshops with 41 attendees covering topics from tax prep to utilizing AI and bookkeeping and creating business plans. And we've done quite a bit of marketing of the microloan program as well. We've got ad spots on DKX. We took out a print ad in city newspaper, and you might hear, if you listen to XXI, Monroe County Economic Development gets a shout out every Monday during their business report. Podair Advertising and the Minority Reporter also are locations where we put ads in about our microloan program specifically. On slide 6, and this is thanks to Tony and Craig, we had 9 loans approved in our 504 portfolio in 2024, 5 loans funded in 2024, with total private investments of $8.5 million and 48 new jobs created due to those transactions alone. And the SBA historically is tricky to deal with. These are elaborate and sometimes labor intensive loans to package, so labors of love, all of them. Moving on to slide 7, our bonds. So this is where MCIDC really brings in revenues to help us make our incentive programs possible. In 2024, as the county executive pointed out, we did 2 deals totaling just under $100 million. Eugenio Charter School in the city of Rochester, which is going to impact over 100 City of Rochester high school students. Beautiful new facility over there, and then also the Lavery Library at St. John Fisher University. Some major upgrades and improvements at St. John Fisher that will benefit all of the students at the university. Looking ahead, Barry's let us know that we've got a potential deal on the horizon with the Jewish Home of Rochester. So you'll be seeing this timeline continue to grow in 2025. And as potentially interest rates start to ratchet down a teeny tiny bit, maybe we'll see more spending activity from our nonprofit partners and more bonding activity. On slide 8, this is where our impact is really seen in the community. Our funded programs, our partnerships with local nonprofits to help support workforce development and economic development programs and initiatives. In 2024, once again, we supported our RMSC's Career Ladders program. This allows RMSC to work primarily with City of Rochester school students on job training and career development. The students are encouraged to obtain employment with the museum or elsewhere in STEM careers after completion of the program. And they always come back to us every year with a really detailed report on the program's performance. GRV's Economic Gardening Program provides technical assistance to small, medium-sized enterprises, throughout the county and throughout the region as well. It's the only business retention and expansion program that is really in the region's economic development portfolio, and it's been around since 2011, 2012, and has grown every year since. MCIDC's been supporting it since 2019. And then BOCES, a stalwart partner in workforce development, the Summer Advanced Manufacturing Experience Program impacts dozens of middle and high school students all over the county, exposing them to careers in manufacturing. And the Commercial Driver's License Program, which offers scholarships to help people get their CDLs. And this past year, we expanded that program to include a bilingual track in partnership with Ibero. And then, of course, the county executive pointed out RTMA's Rock With Your Hands program. The city also supports that, so does Rochester Works. Hundreds of high school students all over the region, the county, primarily city of Rochester students, get exposed to careers in manufacturing, as well as careers in heavy equipment operation and the skilled trades and construction. And then our Retain program, the program, we now partner with the Chamber of Commerce Campus Rock initiative to administer Retain, and COMITA, our sister board, has kicked in an additional $100,000 to support the program, such that $2,000 cash incentive payments are made to individuals who are graduates of 2 and 4 year and graduate programs in Monroe County who choose to live here and work here after they graduate, hence the name Retain, talent retention. And thanks to our partnership with the chamber, we're able to outsource the administration and facilitation of the program, and they're doing a great job getting the word out and making sure that it's impacting the right individuals and the right industry tracks. On slide 9, it covers, this is where I cover RMSC's Career Ladders program. 10 participants in 2024 that engaged with 10,000 museum visitors during the eclipse, which was a huge event in 2024, even though it was a cloudy day. And there was also a partnership with Autism Up through this program, training the Career Ladders participants on how to best support and educate folks with spectrum disorders and sensory challenges. Economic gardening impacted 28 Monroe County companies in 2024. On slide 12, I cover BOCES, the CDL training program. There were 4 total cohorts in 2024, and 24 of the 32 participants received a scholarship from MCIDC with a 78% pass rate and 94% employment rate. CDLs are in major demand. On slide 13, Rock With Your Hands is featured. This is a one-day event in the fall, typically in beginning of October. Over 1,500 students participated this past October. That was a record, with 75 different employers on site showcasing their companies, their equipment, job opportunities to the students. On slide 14, we highlight Retain. 7 businesses participated this past year. 9 payments have been dispersed over the course of 2024. 9 payments going to 9 different recent graduates. And then, as I mentioned, there's the matching funds from COMITA and the partnership with Campus Rock. And then on slide 16, 2025 and beyond, we discussed earlier establishing those parameters and goals for the revolving loan fund and revising and overhauling our equipment rebate programs. That's under the banner of MCIDC modernization. Looking ahead, we're going to be looking at inventorying our workforce development programs, measuring their performance, and I note here eliminating redundancies. We want to make sure that we're not that our programs are not redundant, that we're partnering in a strategic way with organizations like Rochester Works, make sure that we're reaching the right audiences and having the highest and best impact with our programs. And I really emphasized earlier in this presentation, the performance of the Micro Advantage Loan Program. We wanna keep growing that. And in 2026, we wanna see all of the $5.8 million out the door and those principal and interest payments coming back to MCIDC so that we can continue to grow it. Because micro enterprise is where the need is most acute in our small business community. And we wanna grow those micro enterprises into small and medium-sized businesses such that they come back to us for 504 loans and beyond. And with that, I will hand the microphone over to Hanif. Thank you.
Any questions for Anna? Okay, we need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
All in favor?